Alrighty, man, we running.
Already. What's up, y'all? What's up with it, man? Right here at the Wrekk.tv. Interview with the Notester.
That's it, man.
What you want to know, D? What you want to know?
Man, the whole origin, huh? We want to do a deep dive here. And let's set the stage here.
Okay.
D-Note 45, right? That's...
Yeah, D-Note 45. It started off as DMD. It was really DMD, and then D-Note 45 emerged. But I was originally known, and people know me as DMD. If I look familiar to you, that's probably what you know me by.
Awesome. Now we go back, me and you, like 20 years, something like that.
We probably said it together. 20 years.
Right. When I started recording, my first recording booth in the flea market, which was Trading Fair 2 off Crestmont and MLK.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we'll get there. I want to go back further. Like, when did you start rapping, period? Like, maybe rapping, writing, or we'll get into that later, but rapping in front of somebody, rapping with your friends, like, when do you think that started?
It was never an intention to be a rapper until I say about 9th grade. 9th grade is when my homie Londo handed me a microphone on the karaoke machine, and I forgot what instrumental it was. He could tell you what it was, but from there on out, we started meeting up after school and having these sessions and smoking together, and we would start freestyling, and the dream began from there. It just became a dream, and
Orlando Villarreal?
Yeah, aka Two Charms now.
Right now, a stand-up comedian who tours.
And an actor, and doing his thing, got his footstep very in the footprint game.
Shout out to Two Charms, Orlando. We'll get you on here eventually. So 9th or 10th grade, you're rapping. Eventually record anything just on the karaoke?
Then I met you.
You start recording to me? We got diamond cutters, I guess.
It was the first flea market.
At King's.
At King's. And then I met you because we just had a karaoke machine that pumped tapes. And just recorded these double tapes. And so, and then I met you. And then you had a CD-ROM that burned us.
Right.
And it just, from that, I guess that you could say that's what really started me rapping. In the meantime, between you and me karaoke, I had got signed by a record label, Black Ink Records. And that was a voyage. Well,
let's get into the meat and potatoes on this whole thing. You were recording in a flea market with me, right? But this was the first time you were introduced to recording on a computer digitally, what we now call a DAW, a digital audio workstation. This for instance, we were using Vegas 1.0. These are the first versions of these softwares. Cakewalk.
That's right.
Steinberg, right?
Acid 4.0.
These are like the infancy years of audio recording on computers.
Yeah.
So we were joking about this earlier, but you would see me record and then stop and then punch in, and it was like, what sorcery is this? What magic is this? You've never seen this.
Yes, I was normally hooked on freestyling songs. I had just started freestyling songs. I was hooked on writing a lot, and we were used to recording on an 8-track recorder, because that's how Black Ink Records used to record, on an 8-track recorder. Never seen it on a computer. We never had a computer in the studio. There was no computers in the studio.
Right, correct.
It was just track recorders and zip drives, and when I seen you with that, like I say, it opened up a whole new thing. It just
right. And that's what we want to allude to here, is that how this ability to record yourself endlessly, punching in, punching out, that the computer workstation gave you this ability to eventually become this artist where you didn't need to write.
Yeah, the first time I experienced
the writing process was actually inherent in the act while you were freestyling or whatever. You just have to hear the beat once, and then the next go around.
Some say I was possessed as it went. Some say they can't. Sometimes I astonish myself. It really was no explanation for it. I just knew how to pick it up where I left off at, and the first time I did it sounded so perfect. And I couldn't leave off that, and so I started perfecting and stopping on purpose, picking up in the middle of a breath on purpose, and then I learned without writing that relaxing and rapping at the same damn time, it just made a whole different meaning to my rap, because I was rapping on topic, because when I wrote it, I kept drifting off to the left.
Right.
I kept talking about, if the damn song was about a car, I'd drip off and start talking about a girl.
Right.
Because of the issues in my personal life. You know?
So it's therapeutic in the process.
It's very therapeutic. And then the playback was just be astonishing. It blew my mind when I heard people be like, yo, how long did it take you to write that? I'd be like, I didn't write it. I actually punched in and out. Like, no way. And so they'll come witness the shit.
Right.
And then they'll try it. And then I had one guy named Money Green. He was from New York. He comes and he's witnessed the shit. And he goes, I could never, he said, I never saw nobody ever record like that except for Jay-Z.
Right.
He was like, I never seen nobody sit down, think about 4 or 5 bars that were dope as shit, and then drop them, then backdoor, then do it again, then go back to an intro and outro song was done. And Money Green gave me a shout out to Money Green over in the NYC. That's he's well known out there, you know.
And that's something I really want to hit out of the park here about you, about D-Note 45. People don't know, now they know.
Yeah.
That this man doesn't write. He just gets in the studio, hears the beat once, and then the next go round, he's literally writing, but it's on demand. It's on the fly. It's a true freestyle.
With the microphone.
And you've been doing this for over 20 years.
I've been doing that for 20 years, using the microphone as a pen and as a beat as a page.
Right.
And that's how I do it.
And that's why people say, oh, I don't believe Jay-Z does that. I'm like, yeah, I think there are a few people that can really do this, because I've well documented somebody who does do this.
I appreciate it. And I've documented people who've done it even better than myself and don't even know they're doing it.
Right.
And those are like the freestyle, like those freestyle people that are really just cold with it. They just go on forever and ever. If they knew where to stop and rethink about another come in, this shit would sound like 2 times better. But hey, that's just the recording method. It's just if you capture that moment, if you can control every millisecond, that's when my mind clicked. I found out I can control every millisecond. If I can control every millisecond, I control what you hear. So you'll never know if I stopped 55 times because you just heard 5 seconds. And I metaphorically fixed that sound to make it sound the way I did. So when it was hard to perform it, I actually had to lip sync some of the shit because the breath would run out. Remember, I punched in and out.
Right.
So it was therapeutic, a challenge. Still working on it, but I've mastered my craft, and now I've mastered, you know, spreading the knowledge to other people. And as they sit there in my studio, and I can't waste time in there, we got to go in and out. So I'm just telling them, hey man, get on the microphone. What's on your fucking mind? And they say that bar, and I'm telling them, pick it up, man. Can't you feel it? Can't you? Oh, and they pick it up, and they're like, man, I didn't know you could do that. So I start doing what you did to me back in '02.
Now, we'd known each other for this 20 years, but, you know, there was some hiatuses along the way. And I remember this one time I was working at a club. I was DJing. I was speaking with one of your friends, Peps, which hopefully we'll get him. And he was telling me basically, and then we're going to affirm this because you affirmed this in an earlier conversation with me, but Peps had told me that once I shut the flea market down at the studio at the flea market down, Danny pretty much learned computers, learned how to build them, install all the software, just so he could record himself like you were recording him in the flea market.
Yeah, because
this is true.
I had got left alone in that thought of damn, what should I do? Because the flea market's closed. You're a only spot to record at. And I had a computer. I was going to NIT. It was a computer rebuilding college, and I learned how to rebuild computers. And I asked you for a program, and you gave me ACID 4.0. And still to today, I use that damn ACID 4.0 to blow people's minds. And they can't believe it, but it works. And
I mean, that computer runs as a sampler. You was telling me I took all the stuff.
It's a 486, man, and I use it to record any audio that goes through it, cut and paste, and do all my editing on ACID 4.0 by visuals, by visual waves, and sometimes by sound. But I mostly do it by visual wave because after punching in and punching out, I got so used to reading music by wave lines now. And and so that you knew that, and I didn't. So I was so used to doing it by ear, and now I got to do it by eye. And me perfecting it by eye, I knew when a person say, "Hey, I wanted to stop after the word blunt," and I'll be like, "Oh, yeah, I know exactly where that's at." And I'll go edit.
You can see the dynamic how it's written.
Yeah, and so I became a producer, engineer, like. in the means of learning on accident behind your back, watching your moves,
right.
I soaked it all in. Somebody had to do it. Somebody had to do it, you know, and I made my computer. I put that program in there, learned how to do it. We sounded like shit. We sounded like shit because you had better fucking effects. You had did something, and one day I figured it out. I added these 3 plugins on top of the microphone, and it sounded like I dipped it in gold.
Right.
And I was like, yo, listen to the playback. And our microphone sounds so much better. We spent like $700 on this AKG microphone, but it sounded like this. Every time I played it back, it sounded like this. And then when I found those things, it sounded like this.
Right.
When I found those 3 added plugins, it sounded like this, real clear. So mine's of a producer, of a musician, just gonna bloom. I started taking people with me in the voyage, birthing rappers, making groups.
I do want to go back a minute. Something we do not want to forget as far as who you are and your identity.
Yeah.
You are from Iran.
I am Iranian.
Iranian?
Yes. I am
Correct.
Iranian. I'm Persian. My mom and dad are from Iran, Iran, and they're from Abadan. You know, it's a very, very special place over there in Iran. It's like the south side of Iran.
Right.
They do things differently over there. They're like, I don't know. I've only been there 8 times before a certain age, but yeah, I'm from
But
there.
that alone is a rarity, an Iranian rapper.
I'm the
How
first
many other
Iranian rapper since 1999. There was no Iranian rapper, and I have to hold that title tough.
Right, right.
I can't expose myself too damn loud. So, you know, for me to be the first Iranian rapper, I gotta lead by example.
And that's what I want to illustrate here. Not only that,
I'm not the only. I was just the first at the moment.
that alone, I mean, that title alone is unique to itself. You're one of the few that are Iranian in America, and you're rapping about the streets, about what you're witnessing, you're experiencing here in America, right? But not only that, once you started recording yourself, I've been told there's like CD upon CDs, upon hard drives, upon hard drives, upon hard drives, just this endless arsenal of songs after song after song. And why I want to bring this up is because I did an interview with Viper the Rapper, Lee Carter, and he's known for doing 347 albums in one calendar year, right?
Wow.
The difference between him and you is that he put his out, right? And you've probably put more than that out on all those hard drives, all those CDs.
On those
I
hard
want to
drives.
talk about how prolific you are, how much recordings you have. People don't even know, right?
Yeah, I used recording. Excuse me. I used recording like Facebook was Facebook before Facebook. I used to record everything.
It's like your diary.
It was. It is. You know, if you're in my life, you're in my raps. And I didn't leave anything out. So I go back at times, and there's times I even rap about me having a damn flat tire going to the gas station. I made a song about that shit. It got to that point where I was making songs that people couldn't even believe that you can make songs about.
But again, this is no ink to no paper.
Oh no, these are
the ink to the paper are these CDs.
Yeah.
Are these hard drive session recordings,
Yeah,
right?
if there was paper to this shit, then it would be floating around in my car and shit. I'd have nothing to show but my record takes. And it would be like, you know, punch-ins and punch-outs. And
we'll talk about that, because I'm sure being in rap for that long, even probably including myself, we're like, hey, Danny, you need to write. Or your homie, hey, Danny, you need to write more. I'm sure you tried it, right? But eventually...
Notes came down. The thoughts, you know, riding in the car, and you come around, you say something, you forget about it, you wish you wrote it down. That happens. To influence another person, I've had to write. To sit there and have their mojo kicked up. To inspire them, I'll write in front of them. I'll help them. I'll probably won't even act like I'm helping them, but I'll act like, hey man, here goes mine. Check it out, and I'll go first. Break the ice of silence.
Right.
I have to bring the energy if they're not bringing it. I've met rappers that brought energy harder than me. That actually, you know, sat there and hogged the whole energy creative mode. But when it comes to the pen and the pad, I'm not allergic to it. It's just something that I got blessed, and I'm never gonna take it for granted. You know, I thank the Lord for it every time I do a song. It's something that I perfected that craft of using that mic as a pen and the beat as a page. And all those songs I ever recorded throughout my life, if I was to release it, man, I need help. You know, you probably need more than
Right.
a fucking year to go through that shit.
Correct.
Like, back to back. You couldn't even listen to my homework of my life music in 1 year. There's too much music, too many
Right.
minutes recorded. And that's what brings me to a stun.
But eventually you started producing your own stuff, had your own keyboards, own equipment, and even making your own beats?
Yeah, that it got to the point where I had to evolve into another monster.
A musician.
A musician.
Right.
I was an artist. An artist was just a vocalist. I didn't know shit about studio time. I had to buy, I shit how to run studio. But when I became a musician and learned how to make the beats and stuff like that, that brought a whole nother world.
Right.
To my music game, and I soaked that in slowly too, just like recording record takes. When you recorded me, I watched other people make beats, then I asked them, let me see your keyboard. Even though it was my beat session, like, let me see your keyboard one time. Some people got offended, they wouldn't let me touch their equipment. Some people would, and the ones that would, I'd spend more money with them. I'll go back and be like, yo man, let's do that session again. Let me get that keyboard again. And I'll make my own bass line. And I'll be like, yeah man, now it's me and your beat. It's not just your beat. And then the next thing you know, I went to fucking me getting my own goddamn laptop and learning Fruity Loops. And then from Fruity Loops, went to Logic.
Right.
And it was just, you know, that's where I'm at now. But we skipped a lot of that,
Right.
you know, a lot of that time with the time of me making just loops, beats off of VSTs of like these loops that came in these plug-in packs. You get these hip hop
Right,
packs,
little
and,
loops,
yeah,
breaks.
and you go get these retro and hip hop packs and put them in your computer and make them like that. I used to make beats like that too.
Right.
So that was in the means of before I got keyboards, but I learned it all by my damn self by watching other people run a game on me,
Right.
and that's how I had to learn. I mean,
But through all these recordings, you still managed to put out some albums. Let's talk about those. What was probably the first album that you said this is good enough to be as an album, and I'm gonna put it out with some artwork and distribute it? Do you remember the first?
Heavenland Park.
Haviland Park.
Heavenland Park was my first one. Everything before Heavenland Park was a I don't know what the hell to call it, but it was just venting. It was just venting, man. It was just getting off my chest what was on my life.
Right.
You know, I wrote to me, only me. I listened to me and only me.
Well, it's Time for the Note. Talk about that album a little bit.
Time for the Note was a blessing. You know, I didn't do that. Time did that for me. You know, Time was my little, you know, he's my little brother, and he paid for everything. We came to you, and he paid for everything. You know, not my first album that I was on, but I had to give him credit. I still give him credit. It's because of Time that album was made. No one believed in me but him, and I had Davo on the side of me, and I had no budget, and he did. You know, I was just a broke ass motherfucker, and I was rapping hard, and Time had some money, man, and he helped me out, push that motherfucking album, man. That was my first personal album. I put his name first on there, Time for the Note. I love you for that, man. Love you, little bro. You know that. He know that. And after that was Heavenland Park. That's a big gap span. In between that was the Southwest Bandits, you know. Me, Pep, and Londo. That was Voyage That Never Stopped. That's what you recorded the most, was a lot of the Southwest Bandit stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the group had, you know, we all grew up. You know, some flamed on, some stayed in it, some just had to change our heart about it. We all got grown about the shit. You know, that was our kid dream, I guess you could say that.
We had that spot open for, I don't know, 6 months, maybe a year. Maybe it was a year. But I remember, man, vividly that anytime I was open, you were there. Saturday, Sunday, if I was open Friday, you were there. Sometimes twice on one day. I remember there's been a few times you come twice on a Saturday or twice on a Sunday or twice on Saturday and twice on Sunday. Hell, I wouldn't put it past you. You came 3 times. You know what I'm saying? You were always there. Even if I wasn't there, y'all were waiting. Eventually, I remember there was these lines around the corner.
Of course, I remember
on those Sunday mornings.
Yeah, there was people that were there that are famous now because of because of their
Hollow the Dawn started
they
right
stopping
there.
at their spot, you know, and that right there really fucking, you know, it makes sense because I used to spend a lot of money over there, man. And I promise you, it wasn't about no video games, but it was all about perfecting a craft that I just had a feeling about. But back then, I was just gibberish talking. I'm not gonna lie. All that in your booth was just curse words.
Right.
It was fucking curse words. I mean, that's why I have it just in a box. I don't want to release that shit. It's actually dog food. I don't like it. It's unhealthy. But it does remind me of what I was going through. Because every time in those songs, I say something that reflects on what happened that day. And it throws me off like, oh yeah, I remember that shit. I remember that shit. Oh yeah, I remember when we fought that day, and I'll rap about that. And it was all, to me, it was just unhealthy. And so when I started realizing how to make my own therapeutic music as it became me, I realized, oh shit, man, this is gonna blow up.
Those times were innovative, man. We could touch upon that a little bit, the nuances of that booth in the flea market. One, it was the dawn of the MP3, meaning there was file sharing networks out, and I could, for the first time, find tons of instrumentals, right?
Oh yeah.
And not only that, we found a way through a Dreamcast eventually that could play MP3 CDs and a little black and white TV that you could go and look through 400, 500, 600 instrumentals. This huge library, right?
Yeah,
hey, I want number 347, man, and then we could throw that in the mix, and then boom, you're off to the races, right? This was a really cool thing, you know, that people could come and come back. It had created a return customers, you know what I'm saying?
We used to battle for those instrumentals.
Right.
The person that went inside the booth first, if we chose that damn sand beat, we had to flip the script because, you know, we wouldn't want to do that. But then again, we used to beg for you to give us extra instrumental to go home to.
Yeah, during the week, we like clamor to find new stuff, new heat, right?
We would beg for you to give us the instrumental to go home and ride to. And so we would ride to the instrumental, be ready for it, come up with a hook, with, you know, and this and that. And
there was a site called mp3.com. It had all these producers on there.
That's right.
And all these rich beats, man. And we throw those on there. Like, what a time to have something like that in a flea market. All these new innovations were coming out, and MP3s, recording on computers. Like I said, we had the Dreamcast going.
Yeah,
and then,
we had everything going. And when you had introduced me to the instrumentals, oh man, YouTube YouTube wasn't thought of then. So you had the instrumental CDs, and
but we will get into that. There's another iteration of. It was called demo tracks.
Demo track, oh yeah.
And that was before YouTube. We had the video in the booth recording you with a webcam, and it listed you on a site. And
well, look, to you were behind the desk. I was inside the booth, so I'm just I'm just in a fucking closet kind of a room. And so every time I go, it'd be like a different color, either be all white or all black, either or all gray. And so I know that the outside of it, we used to just walk around until it was our turn. You know what I'm saying? And we would kick the shit with you, and we learn, you know, we'll write our lyrics sometimes sitting down right there. I used to be called Mr. Ink. I wrote so much that I used to forget. I used to get mad at the fact that my lyrics, I used to forget them hoes. Like, I had to go back and listen to the song and hear the song in the first 3 seconds pass by, and I now memorize every lyric after that. And I don't know what happened after that, but I can never remember a song lyric before, like right now, a cappella. Land of the Chop. I can't tell you how it starts until the first 3 seconds. I can tell you the beat dun 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 dun, and I can tell you like that's it. But when I hear it, I relive it. It's the way I recorded it. I didn't write that shit. I thought of it when I thought before I spoke. So it's just to me it was fucking. It's a big mystery how I did become who I became.
So someone was to pin you down and say, how many songs have you recorded? And you had to throw a number on the wall.
Over 7,000.
7,000.
Over 7,000 easily made, and I got. I at least got about 3 groups to witness. And
if that's 10 song albums, that's 700 albums or something like that, huh?
If you want to put it like that. But
so I mean, we're talking hundreds of albums of material.
Like I didn't waste my life, but I recorded my life.
Right,
I recorded my life. I did not record shit that I cannot remember, or I mean, not remember. I did, because this is all my life on like a journal, man. And I promise you, it really. Even my phone agrees when that shit chimes, man. The phone agrees, man. I'll speak the truth. It all added up to me being this big ass 3-head monster now in the rap game, engineer, producer, and an artist.
All this recording, these albums, all this effort to being a rapper. Do people back in Iran?
Oh, they love me.
They do hear you.
They love me over there. They love me over there.
Talk a bit about that. When was the first time you'd heard that they were hearing you way over there?
I sent an album over there called Flight to Vegas.
When was this, roughly?
I say about 07. About 07, I sent the album over there called Flight to Vegas. I sent 2 copies.
Now, I want to pause here for a minute. I imagine you were kind of weary of doing this because you hadn't done this
I was cocky as hell.
Already.
I was cocky.
Well, it took you to 07, and you've been rapping since 2000. What took you this long to eventually send something over there?
Yeah, because I got fed up with being the black sheep of the family, being the musician. They didn't want me to be a musician at all. Right. So I had just got fed up with it, and they came to cope with it. They came, oh God, he won't let go of that.
This
dream.
is you screaming from the mountaintop finally. Like,
yeah, this is who I am, and I don't think it's ever gonna fucking stop. Right. So I basically made that album called Flight to Vegas and sent it out there. And the first track that's on that album is my mom calling my house and checking on me and telling me we're gonna have Thanksgiving at my brother's house, and I have this instrumental in the background, and you hear me responding to my mom. And I send that whole album to Iran, and that album gets duplicated about 2,000 times.
Wow.
And I only sent probably 3-4 copies to my cousins, and they did it on purpose. They duplicated it. Then I became this hologram rapper over there. I became like this hologram person. They jammed my music, never seen me before until YouTube popped up.
Wow.
When YouTube popped up, they saw, oh shit, that goes that first Iranian rapper. They started coming out with their own shebang, 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 and then I couldn't hang with that Punjabi music. They got more views than I did, but I had to grace and still glaze the fact on that turkey that I'm the first, that put it out there. And I'm like a underground king over there. They admire me, but at the same time I get the hate, whatever. For one fan there's 10 haters. Y'all should know that. For every one fan there's 10 haters.
Right.
So I get that on the other side. There's always the flip side of this music. It's not all, people say it's just political, don't do it. Over there, you can't, it's a whole different world. Rules are different.
I think we're going to about wrap this up. It's over here blinking on us. But,
all right,
any parting shots, any shout outs?
I got plenty of flags on my shoulder to give a shout out to.
Yes, let's do that. How can they get to see you, man? How can they get a hold of you on?
You could just Google, D-Note 45. D-Note, there's only one of me. You can look it up. You can Instagram D-Note_Note 45. Look me up on Facebook. It's Danny Majdi. You know what I'm saying? And I'm out there. You can look me up on YouTube. Type in Land of the Chop. Type in 3.5. You'll see some stuff on there with me and Charms. Get a hold of me on all that media. But on the regular, right now, like I say, I'm just a hologram. Y'all ain't gonna really hear from me and see from me and all that shit, because a lot of whatever's going on out there.
Well, we're definitely going to get you in the revolving door, man. Get you back and get way more and more of this story that you're living right now, right? And you continue, just like me, to the casket drops.
I'm about to go across the street and get some shit mastered.
All right, man. It's a privilege.
Already. One time for the Wrekk TV, you heard me? One time, D-Note 45, Notester.